Hello, I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven, and we're here at the Metals Investor Forum in November in Vancouver. Great to see you in person, Stuart.
Great to see you after this long year.
For sure. It's great to have people who we can, in 3 dimensions.
Yes.
And so Stuart is with Edgemont Gold. Edgemont is now anxiously awaiting drill results.
Yes.
So this is a story that I got interested in back when you introduced the Dungate property to me. So tell us the backstory here of why you and Joe Campbell, who's the technical side of your team, why you guys like Dungate so much.
Well, what we did is, I guess we picked up this property initially. It was presented to us by people, geologists we respect. He'd done his homework. He went through old files over the Ministry of Mines, looked at filings that had been done, drill logs, for example, with what on this particular project, as what caused him to bring it to us. And you guys should look at this. We've got a drill holes from 75. We don't have assays, but the log looks really good. And it's got 142 meters of abundant chalcopyrite in the bottom of the hole. That's pretty interesting. And then we go and look at the rest of it, and it was only one deep hole. All the other holes that were drilled were like no more than 100 meters. Yeah. They're all shallow. They had some interesting grades in them, but back in the 70s, you probably need something a little more robust. That was back when copper porphyries around the 60s, 70s. Everybody's running around BC trying to discover copper porphyries, and they never assayed for gold.
Right, okay.
So when we got the property, we went and did our homework. Well, we just started on it, just did the work the way you have to do it. As you know, Joe, he's a very organized guy. He's worked for large companies. Let's just do the work.
Sure.
Let's do the sampling, the soil samples, the graph samples. Graph samples were good, 1.5 grams a ton gold, 0.5 copper. Well, that's good. Yeah. So that's good. That's a good start. Let's do a magnetic survey. And so the magnetic survey said there was a magnetic high right where the prior historic work had said, here's the intrusive. Right. So that's good. Okay, and I guess the next step was we went public at the time, raised more money, and then work program is let's go do a IP survey. So we did a 16 line kilometer IP survey and came back with just
right where the target was supposed to be.
Right on coincident with the mag high, and it just said, you just got to drill this. This is what else can you do when you're getting all these other signals? You get the smoke in the area, that's telling you something's here. We got to go and drill it. And the plan was, okay, let's go and we'll drill it deep because that's what we got to do.
And this is the thing with porphyries, right? Porphyries, especially in BC, there's lots of good copper gold porphyries in BC, but you have to be able to figure out where the good part of the porphyry is. And often it's not right up at surface. Maybe the porphyry didn't make it all the way to surface. Maybe the erosion hasn't been sufficient to expose the good stuff. So if you're just drilling short holes like they did back in the day, they maybe were just at the top of it where the grades weren't as strong, but that one deep hole showed the description in the drill log said the words that you want about the way that the rock had been altered and the kinds of minerals that they were seeing in it to suggest that deeper there might be something better.
Exactly. And this was a drill log that was filed with the archives as a legal requirement. It wasn't a news release making stuff up. So his maybe wasn't as abundant as we would like it to be, but that was really encouraging. So you really had to go deep. That's what you needed to do. And what we did is we designed a program where we're going to go and we're going to test this 1.2 kilometer IP anomaly. We're going to test it over 800 meters of strike. Yeah. We're going to do that coincidence with where the lines were done for the survey, because once we drill it, we see what the assays are. They'll be able to say, okay, this is what the IP is telling us. So then when we go deeper and do a deeper survey, so go that route or even further, beyond where we are in the property, we have some correlation between the IP data, the mag, and everything else to put the whole picture together. So so we're really pleased now that we've gotten it drilled. We got our drill permit in last December, ahead of everybody else. So we were able to get drill permits because everybody was freaking out. I think our shareholders got nervous because they had many other companies they invested in that weren't getting their drill permits because they were short-staffed in the ministry office and everything else. But we were already in the works. We started in December. We got ours roughly when I said we would, and then I had to make sure I could get the driller back because they're not going to come and drill unless they know you have a permit, because they got to make a living. And anyway, managed to get it together, and we started drilling in August. And 6 holes, 500 meters each was the rough plan. We managed the drilling went very well. The overburden with some of the holes are like 4 meters, and then you're into the porphyry, the quartz feldspar porphyry. So from there we then added another hole because we had time. The driller wasn't going to leave right away. We could get him because it's going smoothly. He liked working with us, so we ended up getting 7 holes in, 3,400 meters. We did another test of sort of along the side of a magnetic high, because there's interesting things that Joe says, this could be really interesting right here on the edge of the contact. So let's see how this thing looks. And it's an interesting hole. So it looks good. We're seeing interesting things in the core. And, basically.
And not just interesting things. You're seeing, like I said about, what you need to drill into, or that old hole from 1975, the drill logs described the right kinds of alteration and the right kinds of sulfide minerals, copper sulfide minerals. That's what you see visually in the core that you pulled. We won't know what it actually is until the numbers come back, but they were promising to look at.
Oh, it was really good from that point of view. And it's always sort of the moment of truth. At least you don't know what the assays are, the real moment of truth, but at least let's see something in the core. So we're happy to see chalcopyrite. We also saw moly. So it was good. And of the holes, we hit sulfides virtually in all the holes. I think 5 of the holes were in porphyry. And some of them, we did drill 2 holes to the north near a hidden intrusive, and they were more like wildcat holes, so they didn't turn out all that great. So don't have expectations for those. But right where the target was, it looks really good. And the holes, when we finished up the last drill hole, we were going, and I said, keep going until you stop. And they said, then it was about 550 meters down, and the driller says, I got to go. And we wrapped it up then. So, and we're mineralization.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's also, so now you have to wait for the results, which will be January, maybe February, just because it has nothing to do with Edgemont. It's just assay labs are incredibly slow. So it's just they're gonna show up when they show up. But it's an interesting context. The market right now is an interesting context in which to be exploring for a porphyry in BC, because there's been great examples in the last 2 years of porphyry of the market appreciating the potential value when you drill into a new porphyry discovery in BC.
Exactly. I mean, I've been pleased, like when we started working on this now, just the reaction when we came out to raise money for drilling, the reaction was so positive to that. And we're also seeing now, because of the work we've done in the area, what Sun Summit's done, and there's so many other companies in the area exploring for copper gold porphyries. Teck has a big block of land just to the west of us, the other side of Houston. And basically everything there's nothing unstaked around that area now. So wish we'd gotten more. Who knew?
But for now, let's just keep our fingers crossed that assay labs can get the work done, and we'll see what happens when they come out.
We will. We've done everything we can now. We'll just hope Mother Nature is kind. Thanks so much.
Well, thanks for the update. Great to see you.
Great to see you too.